If you have any queries or any questions during the lecture, you can text me on the chat box and I will answer at the end of the lecture. You can be interactive and be attentive because today's topic is some kind of boring and lengthy topic. So be attentive. Okay, and I will ask a question related to the today's topic at the end of the lecture. So be attentive. So start today's topic with this quote: aspire to become good, not great. Greatness is like passing cloud. It is temporary. So to become good. As you all know, disorder of the white cell include deficiencies, decrease amount. Deficiencies mean leukopenias, decrease leukocyte, and proliferation mean increase leukocytosis, which may be reactive or neoplastic. Neoplastic, either malignancy. Due to the malignancy, leukocytosis can be seen in many conditions. We will discuss. साकिब मेरी आवाज ठीक नहीं आ रही है क्या? Okay. Today we will discuss the two things, leukopenia and leukocytosis. Leukopenia include neutropenia, lymphopenia, pancytopenia, monocytopenia, and leukocytosis include where there is a increased neutrophil count, neutrophilia, eosinophilia, lymphocytosis, monocytosis. So today we will discuss both things, leukopenia and leukocytosis. This is a chart showing the normal ranges of the TLC and the neutrophils, eosinophil, monocyte, basophil, lymphocyte. So, as you all know, normal TLC count range between 4,000 to 11,000. Neutrophil count range from 2.5 to 7.5. These are the absolute count. Lymphocyte range between 1.5 to 3.5. When they are decreased below the normal range, they call the venias, and they are increased from this range called the cytosis, increased amount of these cells. These are the normal blood cells. The white blood cell may be divided into the two broad groups, the phagocytes and immunocytes. But these are the granulocytes because they are having the granules. Granulocytes which include the three types of cells, neutrophil, eosinophils, and basophil. They are the granulocytes. And along with, together with the monocyte, they act as a phagocyte. They phagocytes the infection. When there is a bacteria or any kind of infection, they fight against this infection by phagocytosis. So neutrophil, eosinophil, basophils are the granulocytes, and along with the monocyte, they act as the phagocytes. And lymphocyte and their precursors and plasma cells, which make the immunocytes. They develop the immunity. They produce the antibodies and develop the immunity against the infections. So this is the band cell. This is the cell of the left shift. Usually this is not seen in the peripheral smear. This is the stage before the neutrophils. I hope you all are clear. There are two types of the groups. Granulocytes include the neutrophil, eosinophil, and basophil, and immunocytes including the lymphocyte and plasma cell, which are making the antibodies. These are another picture showing this cell. This is the neutrophils. This is the eosinophil by root nucleus in the reddish orange granules. This is the basophil covered by the plum colored granules. This is a monocyte having the horseshoe shape or kidney shaped nucleus and grayish colored cytoplasm, and this is the lymphocyte having the high nuclear cytoplasmic ratio. This is filling the nucleus whole cell. This is a normal WBC's production. As you all know, there is the initial cell is the myeloblast or the myelomonoblast, Then it converted into promyelocyte, then into the myelocyte. Myelocyte convert into the metamyelocyte, then band cell converted into the neutrophil by having the different multi-lobe of the nucleus, and neutrophil comes into the blood. And when there is an infection in tissue, neutrophil can go into the tissues. And another lineage is the monocyte. It develops into the promonocyte, then monocyte in the blood, and when monocyte goes into the tissue, it becomes the macrophage. First is the immature macrophage, then the mature macrophage to fight against the infection. This is a chart showing the philias and philias causes. If we discuss the neutrophilia, as we all know, neutrophilia seen in the bacterial infection, trauma, tissue destructions, and neutropenia can be seen in the severe infection, splenomegaly, bone marrow dysfunction, aplastic anemia, eosinophilia, seen in the allergic condition, hypersensitivity reaction, parasitic infections, and monocytosis seen in the mycobacterial infection, tuberculosis, and myeloproliferative diseases. Lymphocytosis commonly seen in the viral infections. Most commonly is seen in the viral infection, like infectious mononucleosis, dengue fever, and lymphocytopenia seen in the congenital immunodeficiency syndrome, HIV, AIDS due to some drugs. Okay, what is the mechanism underlying the neutropenia? The mechanism underlying the neutropenia divided into the two groups. Decreased granulocyte production. Reduction in the granulocytes most often caused by the marrow hypoplasia, as occur in the cancer chemotherapy or in aplastic anemia. Or extensive replacement of the marrow by the tumor cells, by the leukemia cells. So, decreased granulocyte production, what are the causes? Either it is due to the cancer chemotherapy, marrow hypoplasia, aplastic anemia, and the marrow is replaced by the metastasis, or marrow is replaced by the tumor cells like leukemia. Second mechanism is the increased granulocyte destruction. Increased granulocyte destruction can be encountered with the immune-mediated injury. Some antibodies against the neutrophils destroy the neutrophils in the circulation. And splenomegaly can lead to the sequestration and accelerated removal of the neutrophils. In normal size of the spleen, only 1/3 of the blood pooling in normal conditions. But if there is a splenomegaly, 2/3 of the pooling of the blood in the spleen, and there is an increased accelerated removal of the neutrophils seen, and it can cause the neutropenia. So remember, there are the two groups: decreased granulocyte production and increased granulocyte destruction. In neutropenia, we have already discussed decreased production by the marrow or the increased destruction by the drugs are immune-mediated when there is a severe agranulocytosis. Clinical features include infection is a major problem, because then there is a neutropenia, there is a no protection against the infection. So infection is a major problem. Commonly take the form of ulcerating, necrotizing region of the gingiva, floor of the mouth, buccal mucosa, pharynx, or other sites with the oral cavity. These are all the clinical features of the neutropenia. What type is a cyclical neutropenia? This is a 21-day cycle. This is autosomal dominant. Every 21 days, it develops the neutropenia. Cause is usually unknown. It is the autosomal dominant. It can present with a fever, mouth ulcer every month. Patient can present with a fever, mouth ulcer every month, and when it resolves automatically by the treatment of the GC cell, and usually it improves after puberty. Just for your interest, this is not in your textbook. Just for your interest, there is a cyclical neutropenia, and second is the congenital neutropenia. What is the congenital neutropenia? There is a maturation arrest. This is the picture of the bone marrow. As you can see, there is no neutrophil because there is a maturation arrest. There is a no development of the neutrophil by the myelocytes, metamyelocytes. due to the mutation of the gene elastase 2 coding for the neutrophil elastase. When there is a mutation in the gene elastase 2, there is a maturation arrest at the level of the band cell metamyelocytes, and patient present with a frequent infection, often serious mouth ulcers, may lose teeth or develop severe gum infection. And in this patient, there is an increased risk of the leukemia. And we can treat the patient by the GCSF and the bone marrow transplant. You should remember congenital neutropenia, there is a maturation arrest, and there is a mutation of the gene elastase 2 coding for the neutrophil elastase. This is the chart which showing the causes of the leukocytosis. It is taken from your textbook. As you all know, causes of neutropenia are the bacterial infections, inflammation and tissue necrosis, metabolic disorders, pregnancy, drugs, and eosinophilia seen in the allergic disorder, asthma, allergic skin diseases, dermatitis, some kinds of lymphomas, basophilic leukocytosis seen in the myeloproliferative neoplasm, commonly in the chronic myeloid leukemia. Monocytosis seen in the chronic infection, tuberculosis, bacterial endocarditis, lymphocytosis seen in the tuberculosis, brucellosis, viral infections, infectious mononucleosis, cytomegalovirus. Now coming to the neutrophilia. Okay, as you all know, in case lymphocytes seen in the acute inflammation, bacterial infection, and severe, they develop the leukemia reaction. We will discuss further leukemia reaction, clinical feature, infection. This is the swollen tonsil, exudate, and fever, fatigue. This is the picture, peripheral smear showing the increased neutrophil count. These are all the neutrophils, neutrophil leukocytosis. This is showing the neutrophilic leukocytosis. This is another picture showing the neutrophilia. All the cells are the neutrophil. This is seen in the acute inflammation, and bacterial infection, trauma are the immune mediated. These are the toxic granulation. They can also seen in the infection because these granules prominent to fight against the infection. This is the left shift. Band cells are the myelocytes, metamyelocytes. If come into the peripheral blood, they known as the left shift. If there is the left shift cells like myelocyte, metamyelocyte, band cell, and the nucleated RBCs, they are known as the leukoerythroblastic picture. Remember, if there is a nucleated RBCs and the left shift cells in the peripheral smear, they are known as the leukoerythroblastic picture. This is a leukemia reaction. What is a leukemia reaction? Maybe increased neutrophils more than 50,000. It can see in the severe infection. Shift to left, immature forms. You can see the immature form. This is the myelocyte. This is the band cell or the metamyelocytes, and these are the neutrophils. They are the neutrophilia and immature form. It can be seen in the severe infection, trauma, bone marrow infiltration, look like the leukemia. But there's a no blast. You can differentiate between leukemia and leukemia reaction by seeing the blast. If there's a no blast, it most likely leukemia reaction. But it look like the leukemia. You should differentiate from leukemia and leukemia reaction. Okay, any question at this level, then we will start the lymphocytes. If you have any queries or questions, you can text on the chat box. Then we will discuss the lymphocytes. So we can proceed further. I think there is no question from your side, but I will ask question at the end of the lecture, please. Okay, these are the different morphological features of the lymphocytes. Okay, two questions from your side. Lymphoerythroblastic picture, no. Leukoerythroblastic picture mean leukocytes. Leukoerythroblastic picture mean left shift cell, either myelocytes, metamyelocyte, band cell in the peripheral blood. Normally, you can see only the neutrophil in your blood. Okay, if there is the left shift cells are the myelocytes, metamyelocytes, and the band cell, if they are in your blood in peripheral smear, and along with the nucleated RBCs. Normally, no nucleated RBCs can seen in your blood. So, if these immature forms seen in your peripheral blood, this is the leukoerythroblastic picture. Leukoerythroblastic picture. Okay, second question is the autoimmune mechanism for neutrophil destruction. Yes, if there is the development of the antibodies against neutrophil, is the autoimmune destruction. You can see in many autoimmune disorders, there is a neutropenia like rheumatoid arthritis or and drug reactions. Third question is, are there basal eosinophilic leukocyte reactions? No, usually we can see leukocyte reaction with the neutrophils and the left shift cells of these. If there is a basophil or eosinophilic, it can be seen in the myeloproliferative disorder. Usually they are the clonal disorders. If there is a basophilic leukocytosis or the eosinophilic leukocytosis, it can be seen in the myeloproliferative disorders. Not normally seen as the leukocyte reaction. So we can proceed further. These are the different morphological types of the lymphocyte. This is the normal looking lymphocyte. This is slightly larger than the red cells. High ANC ratio. What is the high ANC ratio? Nuclear cytoplasmic ratio. The whole nucleus filling the cell. There is the only small amount of cytoplasm seen. It's called the high nuclear cytoplasmic ratio. There is a moderate ANC ratio because it can be seen in the infection. This called the granular lymphocytes. Large granular lymphocytes. It can be seen in different lymphomas or infections, viral infection. This is other morphological type, morphological picture of the lymphocyte. This is the large lymphocytes with the basophilic cytoplasm and prominent nuclei. It can be seen in the viral infection like dengue, infectious mononucleosis or the dengue fever. You can see lymphocyte with the basophilic cytoplasm. And what is this? It is the lymphocytes. Can anyone tell me, is this lymphocytes or any other cell? Wow, good, Tariq. It is the plasma cell. Plasma cell. Plasma cell have the abundant cytoplasm eccentric nucleus with the halo. This is the perinuclear halo due to the Golgi zone. This is the plasma cell. And plasma cell lymphocytes both involved in the immunity, both involved in producing the antibodies. So they are the immunocytes. Very good, Ms. Tariq. Cylindrical cell outline and Cartman nucleus. Good. So, coming to the lymphocytosis, if there is an increased lymphocyte, can be seen in the chronic infection, viral, tuberculosis, and large lymphocytes, more cytoplasm, irregular, indented by RBCs, also known as the variocytes. Clinical features are the chronic fever and lymphadenopathy. This is the structure of the Epstein-Barr virus. They have the envelope protein, envelope, viral genome, nucleocapsid, uh, surface projection of glycoprotein, which are essential to the infection of the host cells. And there is the double helix of the DNA, composed of double helix of DNA. Infectious mononucleosis is caused by the primary infection with the Epstein-Barr virus and occurs only in the minority of the infected individual. In most cases, the infection is subclinical. The disease is characterized by the lymphocytosis caused by the clonal expansion of the T cells reacting against the B lymphocytes infected with the Epstein-Barr virus infection. There is a group of symptoms. Epstein-Barr virus infect the B lymphocytes, and when the T cells react against these B lymphocytes, and these T cells we can see in the peripheral smear. There is a group of symptoms usually caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. Main symptoms are the fatigue, malaise. There is a reddening of the tonsils, white patches, soreness of the throat, cough, swelling of the lymph node, enlargement of the spleen, nausea, and systemic features are the chills, fever, and body aches. They are the group of symptoms caused by the Epstein-Barr virus, and typically occur in the teenager. Why it typically occurs in the teenagers? It is also known as the kissing cousin disease because it can transmit. They can transmit the infection by the kissing. This is the pathogenesis of the infection mononucleosis. It can transmit it by the kissing or by any means. The Epstein-Barr virus attached to and infect the epithelium of the throat, where it replicates and causes the pharyngitis. Then it goes into the lymphatic vessels and blood vessels, and virus enter the lymphatic vessel and then carried to the lymph nodes. So lymph node enlargement occurs, and then virus attach specifically to the B lymphocyte and infect them. Either they produce their latent or productive infections. So Epstein-Barr virus attached to and infect the epithelium throat, causing the pharyngitis. Then through the lymphatic vessels and blood vessel, it enters into the lymphatic vessel and goes to the lymph node, causing the enlargement of the lymph nodes. Then lymph node trap escape. Some virus escape the lymph node trap and going into the blood stream. Then virus attached to the specifically to the B lymphocyte and infect them. Then these infected B lymphocytes actively replicate and differentiate into the cell, producing the immunoglobulin, including the hydrophile antibodies. These are the activated lymphocytes, and they differentiate into the cell, producing the random antibodies or the hydrophile antibodies. Then T cell come to overcome the infection. T cell respond to the infection and destroy the lymphocyte which are replicating the Epstein-Barr virus. Then some are the lyse B cell, and these are the activated T cells. And latently infected B lymphocyte becomes immortal and they are not attacked by the T cells. So they can reactivate after some times due to the another infection. So I hope you all understand pathogenesis of infectious mononucleosis. After Epstein-Barr virus attached to the epithelium of throat, causing the pharyngitis, then into the lymphatic vessel, it goes into the lymph node and blood stream, then attached to the B lymphocytes specifically and infect them, producing the antibodies, hydrophile antibodies. Then T cell come, respond to the infection and attack the B cell and causing the lysing of the B cells. And these T-activated T lymphocytes we can see in the peripheral blood. Over clinical presentation, typically with the fever, pharyngitis, adenopathy, fatigue, and splenomegaly. Many patients present with a bilateral cervical lymph adenopathy. Some patients come with a sore throat, fever may be mild or the severe, a rash, severe headache, and eye sign like photophobia. Palpable splenomegaly occur in half of the patient, and peripheral neuropathy, severe anemia can be caused by the autoimmune hemolysis. In some patients can be seen purpura due to the thrombocytopenia, but typically present with the fever, pharyngitis, lymphadenopathy, fatigue, splenomegaly. There are some complications. Neurological complications include encephalitis, meningitis, peripheral neuropathy. Hematological complications include the neutropenia and thrombocytopenia, hemolytic anemia due to the immune-mediated lysis of the red cells, splenic rupture because spleen becomes fragile, respiratory complication due to the pharyngeal or the paratracheal lymphadenopathy. It can cause the upper way obstruction, hepatic complication, elevated aminotransferase level. Okay, how to diagnose the infectious mononucleosis? What is the most important? Most important for diagnosis is a full history and clinical examination. Look for the classical triad: fever, pharyngitis, lymphadenopathy. What are the triad? Fever, pharyngitis, lymphadenopathy, and look for the other symptoms. A moderate rise in the, you can order the CBC in peripheral smear. A moderate rise in the white cell count, 10 to 20,000 with an absolute lymphocytosis is usual. Lymphocyte count in your blood. Large number of the atypical lymphocytes are seen in the peripheral blood film. This is the peripheral smear showing the large atypical lymphocyte. These are the T-cell activated lymphocytes. These are the hallmark, or in many cases of the infection mononucleosis, you can detect, you can see this type of the lymphocyte, atypical lymphocytes. Second is the monospore test, heterophile antibody test. What is the mechanism of this test? Heterophile antibodies from the patient react to the antigen from the animal RBC. They use the sheep RBCs or whole RBCs. They have the antigen which react to the heterophile antibodies of the patient cell. This antibody produced by the infected B cell, we already know, and this antibody is negative in the first week of infection, and once infected B cell clear, test will be negative. This is the mechanism for your understanding. These are the IgM antibodies, heterophile antibodies from the patient. These are the sheep RBCs. They are joined together and cause the agglutination. Okay, you can see by the kit method or by the Western blot method, you can see the agglutination. But this test is no longer recommended today because sensitivity is only 75% in first week, but increases to 90% afterward. You can miss the disease in the first week. And it can be false positive in early HIV, autoimmune disorders, and false negative in young age. So, these are the pros and cons of this test. Okay. You can see the Epstein-Barr antibodies if viral diagnostic recipe is available. You can see the titer of the IgM antibodies against the Epstein-Barr virus capsid antigen may be demonstrated during the first 2 to 3 weeks. A specific IgG antibody to the Epstein-Barr virus nuclear antigen and IgG viral capsid antigen antibody develop later and persist for life. This is another diagnostic test for the infectious mononucleosis. And if PCR available, you can detect the Epstein-Barr virus DNA by the PCR, polymerase chain reaction. Other causes, just for remembering, other causes of the infection mononucleosis are CMV, HIV, toxoplasmosis, human herpes virus, and hepatitis. Now coming to the lymphadenitis. Is there any question regarding the infection mononucleosis? You can ask in chat box. I'm trying to simplify this section because these are the lengthy and some kind of boring topics. how we define a erythropoietic antibody? You can't define erythropoietic antibodies. Erythropoietic antibodies, it is a name, and it produced by the B cell which are infected by the Epstein-Barr virus. And for diagnosis, we take the sheep red cell or the whole red cell. They have the antigenic structure which can react with these heterophyte antibodies and cause the egg inflammation. Okay, there's good definition of like heterophyte antibody. So coming to the lymphadenitis, either it is acute or chronic. Lymphadenitis, what is lymphadenitis? It's an infection of the lymph nodes. Mostly it is a reactive. Infection and non-microbial inflammatory stimuli often activate immune cells residing in the lymph node, which act as the defensive barrier. Any immune response against foreign antigen can lead to the lymph node enlargement, right? Any immune response against the foreign antigen can lead to the lymph node enlargement, lymphadenopathy. Lymphadenitis, enlarged lymph node due to the inflammation or infection, they are the painful. And lymphadenopathy, any enlargement, but commonly used for the cancer, right? Painless, they are usually painless. So there are the two forms of the lymphadenitis: acute non-specific lymphadenitis and chronic non-specific lymphadenitis. Acute, this form of lymphadenitis may be isolated to a group of nodes draining a local infection, like any abscess from your neck can cause the cervical lymphadenopathy of a group of nodes, or may be generalized as in systemic infection or inflammatory condition. Second form is a chronic. Chronic lymphadenitis dependent on the cause. Chronic non-specific lymphadenitis can be assumed into the three patterns. They can be seen in the three patterns. It means there is a repeated causative agent called the chronic non-specific lymphadenitis. There are three patterns: follicular hyperplasia, paracortical hyperplasia, or sinus histiocytosis. So these are the morphological pattern of the chronic non-specific lymphadenitis. This is a follicular hyperplasia. This pattern occurs with infection or the inflammatory processes that activate B cells, which migrate into the B cell follicle and create the follicle and create the follicles. Causes of the follicular hyperplasia include rheumatoid arthritis, toxoplasmosis, and early HIV infection. This form of lymphadenitis may be distinguished from the follicular lymphoma. You should distinguish from the follicular lymphoma. Findings that favor the follicular hyperplasia include preservation of the architecture of the lymph nodes, variation in the shape and size of germinal center. They are the variable. Some are small, some are large. And the presence of the mixture of germinal center lymphocyte of varying shapes and size. Varying shape and size lymphocytes are present, and the prominent phagocytic and mitotic activity in germinal centers. So we can distinguish by follicular hyperplasia from follicular lymphoma. The germinal centers are the invariable size, different size of the lymphocytes, variable shapes of lymphocytes, and preservation of the lymph node architecture, and prominent phagocytic and the mitotic activity. Follicular hyperplasia, and another form is a paracortical. Paracortical hyperplasia is this pattern caused by the immune reaction which involving the T cells. Okay, remember, paracortical hyperplasia, this pattern caused by the immune reaction involving T cell lesion of lymph node. When activated, parafollicular T cell transform into the large immunoblast that can efface the B cell follicles. Paracortical hyperplasia seen in the viral infection such as Epstein-Barr virus and in immune reaction induced by drug, especially due to the phenytoin. Okay, these are the paracortical morphological pattern, histological pattern. This is the sinus histiocytosis. Sinus histiocytosis is reactive pattern characterized by the distension and the prominence of the lymphatic sinusoids. These are the lymphatic sinusoids. And there is a marked hypertrophy of the lining endothelial cell and the infiltration of the macrophages. These are the histiocytes. They are the infiltration. Histiocytes are the macrophages that into the tissues. These are the histiocytic infiltration of the macrophages, histiocyte. There is a prominent lining of the endothelial cell and distribution and prominence of the lymphatic sinusoids. There are three patterns of the chronic non-specific lymphadenitis. Now coming to the next topic, HLH. Can anyone tell me what is HLH? What is HLH? Okay, I will tell you what is HLH. HLH is the hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis. Hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis is an uncommon disorder in which viral infection or other pro-inflammatory exposure trigger the activation of the macrophages throughout the body, leading to the phagocytosis of the blood cells and their precursor. It can present with the cytopenias and the symptom related to the systemic inflammation and organ dysfunction. There are the two forms. Either it is the inherited or due to the acquired diseases. Acquired diseases, especially by the viral infection, and in familial form, there is genes such as the perforin. There is a perforin mutation, and patient present with the fever and pancytopenia with splenomegaly and liver dysfunction. And there are the increased number of the histiocyte in the bone marrow, which injures red cell, white cell, and platelet, and causing the pancytopenia. Okay, we already discussed clinical feature of the fever, pancytopenia, and adenopathy in splenic enlargement and CNS sign. Okay, this is the bone marrow picture of the hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis. And examination of the bone marrow shows the macrophages phagocytizing the red cell. These are the red cells. They phagocytose the red cells and platelets and nucleated marrow cells. They phagocytose all the cell of the marrow, and laboratory abnormalities include the very high ferritin level. You can see the high ferritin level in this patient, hypertriglyceridemia, high serum level of the interleukin-2 receptors, and low level of the natural killer cell and cytotoxicity lymphocyte. Just for remember, when patient present with the fever, pancytopenia, splenomegaly, and you are suspecting the HLH, hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis, this is the two type. Either it is proceed from the viral infection, you can take the history of the fever and infection, familial history, and any other similar patient in your family. And second form is genetic form. There is a mutation of the perforin genes. Then you can do the tissue biopsies and bone marrow biopsies, CSF examination to see the hemophagocytic activity of the macrophages. And in this patient, there is a high ferritin level and hypertriglyceridemia, high serum level of the interleukin-2 receptors, and there is a low level of the circulating natural killer cell. Different tests. Most of the tests are available in Pakistan, in our city. And treatment varies depending on the underlying cause. If there is a viral infection, you can treat the virus and bone marrow revert to the normal. If it is generally, but HLH, if there is from the inherited defect, HLH due to the inherited defect, hematopoietic stem cell transplantation offer the chance of cure. So in genetic defect of the HLH, you can offer the hematopoietic stem cell transplant, bone marrow transplant. Okay, last topic is the cat stage disease in your textbook. What is the cat stage disease? It's a cell-limited lymphadenitis caused by the bacterium Bartonella. It is primary disease of childhood. 90% of the patient under the 18 years of age, and it manifests as a renal adenopathy, most frequently axilla and neck. And nodal enlargement appear 2 weeks after the penile spray and less commonly after the splinter or thorn injury. Okay, it is taken from your Robin Basic Pathology 10 edition, and this is my mail ID. If you have any queries or anything you can want to ask, you can mail me anytime for anything. Thank you so much. If any queries or question, you can text me in textbook, and I will try to answer your questions. If you have no question, I have questions for you. Yes, Moise Sadiq, the DIC can occur in the HLH if there is a pancytopenia and there is a low neutrophils against to clear your infection. Patient can lead to the DIC. Okay, HLH, just remember two things. HLH is an uncommon disorder in which the viral infection and other pro-inflammatory exposure trigger the activation of the macrophages. There is two forms of the HLH. Either it is due to the infection, mostly due to the viral infection. And genetic forms and familial forms. There is the mutation of the perforin, and there is the bone marrow showing the macrophage and the histocytic activation and the engulfing phagocytosing the red cell, WBCs, and the platelet. And there is a high ferritin levels, hypertriglyceridemia, and the high serum level of interleukin 2 receptor, and treatment depend on the underlying cause. And in familial cases, genetic defects, hematopoietic stem cell is the treatment of choice. So I am asking some question. Can anyone tell me which cells include in the granulocytes? Fast, please reply fast. We have very little time. Can anyone tell me which cells are included in the granulocytes? Good, Moise Sadiq, basophil, neutrophil, eosinophil. Okay, and what are the immunocytes? Sidra, good. Syed, basophil include in the granulocytes. Okay, next question, what are the immunocytes? Good, lymphocytes. Monocytes and lymphocytes. No. Monocytes include in the phagocytosing cells. Lymphocyte and plasma cell include in the immunocyte, and they cause to develop the immunity. Whether you are right, lymphocyte including immunocytes and plasma cell, they are producing antibodies. Okay. Can anyone tell me what are the two mechanisms of the neutropenia? Just name. What are the mechanisms which causing the neutropenia? Right, decreased production and increased breakdown. Bone marrow suppression, good. It's mean you were attentive during lecture. Right, there are the two mechanisms. Either it is the increased restriction or the decreased production. Decreased production in the decreased production. Right, aplastic anemia and cancer chemotherapy and infiltration of the marrow by the cells. Okay, what are the clinical features of the neutropenia? What are the clinical features of the patient with a neutropenia? What is the main clinical feature? Right, fever, right, increased chance of infection. Mohammed, you are right. There's a patient is more prone to the infection. Okay, next question is coming. Which gene is defective in the congenital neutropenia? Very easy question. Which gene is wow, Muistarek? Wow, good. Elastase 2 gene. And Hasna, you are also right. Elastase 2. Elastase 2 gene with ALA2, which encoding the elastase, neutrophilic elastase enzyme, and they cause the maturation arrest. So there is a congenital neutropenia. Can anyone tell me few causes of the neutrophilia? Good, Hasna, Sidra. Good, trauma infection, bacterial infection. Mostly bacterial infection. You can see neutrophilia in bacterial infection. Okay. And what are the causes of the eosinophilia? What is the main? Right, allergic reaction, hypersensitivity, allergies, parasitic infection. You are right. These are the causes of the eosinophilia. Okay, listen. How to differentiate the leukemia from the leukocyte reaction? What is the difference between the leukemia and leukocyte reaction on the peripheral sphere? Very good, Sidra. Mohammed, see the blast cell. Blast cell is needed to differentiate the leukocyte reaction and the leukemia. Okay, what are the triad symptoms of the infectious mononucleosis? What are the main symptoms of the infectious mononucleosis? Fever, pharyngitis, and right. Sidra, right, fever, pharyngitis, and retinopathy. Good. What are the diagnostic tests for the infectious mononucleosis? Just name. Right, neutrophil antibody test. Good, Maurice. So one thing you can chat to a whole class. Don't message me direct. It is good for discussion, right? Neutrophil antibodies, Epstein-Barr antibodies, and the PCR. Okay, what are the morphological pattern of the chronic non-specific lymphadenitis? What are the morphological features of the chronic non-specific lymphadenitis? Just name. Sure. Okay. Okay. Right. Follicular, paracortical, and sinusoidal. 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 So sinus histiocytosis. Okay. Sinus histiocytosis. Right. Last question. Last question is, which gene is defective in the HLH? What is the genetic defect in the HLH in the familial cases? Anyone tell me what is the genetic defect in the HLH? Very good, Arbaz. Perforin. Perforin gene defect can be seen in the HLH in familial cases. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any queries or questions, you can mail me on my email ID. I hope you understand this topic. Okay, thank you so much.